Today I'm going to be talking about Dragon Age the Veilguard. Video's been a long time coming. I have quite a few thoughts, some good, a few bad, and some things that I think could have really helped this game. Let's get into it. So just a bit of background, I'm a longtime Dragon Age fan, with Dragon Age Origins being my personal favorite within the series. I am also quite partial to BioWare. The Mass Effect games are some of my favorite RPGs ever, and I was extremely let down by Mass Effect Andromeda when it released, and the state of that game really affected how I view future BioWare products pre-release. So leading up to the release of this game 2 years ago, I was definitely excited, but I kept my excitement a little bit reserved. I knew there was a small possibility that this game could be another Andromeda or similar, but I was more than ready to experience another game within the Dragon Age universe. I thought the general plot of this game was good, initially trying to stop Solus from tearing down the Veil, briefly pivoting to stopping Elgernon and Gillenane, and then concluding with the finality of Solus and his arc. The issues I have with the story deal more with encompassing factors, which we'll get into in a little bit, than the actual plot. The first issue I had while playing through the game had to do with the relationship between Rook and Solus. I was made pretty clear early on that Solus was being painted as a manipulative, mastermind antagonist. Some might have not wanted to side with him because of this, but I, in my first playthrough, wanted to aid Solus in any way I could. I was really disappointed that the opportunities to express your faith in Solus were few and far between. And even with those few opportunities, they don't make much of a difference because Solus's disposition towards you doesn't change. The lack of choice when it comes to the fate of Solus, and really just the lack of choice when it comes to how you want to speak to people in this game as Rook, it's very disappointing. You really only have three options. You can be funny, stoic, or inquisitive, if I'm remembering correctly. You really only have three options. You can't be evil, you can't be a jerk to people, you can't be rude, and this lack of choice, it really affects the role-playing experience in this game. But in the final act of this game, pretty much forcing Solus to be bound to the Veil in some way really made me feel like I was being forced to oppose and even hate this character that I once called friend. Very disappointing. It was difficult for me to play this game and not compare it to Dragon Age Origins when it comes to tone. The overall dialogue in Veilguard was much more chipper and quippy, even when the threat of world destruction was looming over the party's head. It was super weird to hear your companions being super chippy and upbeat even when you're in areas where that sort of reaction wouldn't be warranted. I also wish I could have heard more clashing in companion banter. It didn't make much sense for a large majority of your companions to be super friendly and reassuring, even though they're just meeting. These people haven't known each other for that long, yet they're being very supportive of each other. Don't get me wrong, I do really enjoy a good, cheerful, happy companion in my party, but they also have to be balanced out well with other companions that have a darker, more mature disposition, or even evil dispositions, and I feel like Veilguard is kind of missing those dark or evil companions. For instance, in previous Dragon Age games, we had Morrigan versus Alistair, Fenris versus Anders, Vivienne versus Sarah, and their disagreements usually led to large political or large philosophical conflicts. In the Veilguard, we really just didn't get that. Everyone became friends very quickly, and the few disagreements that were had don't escalate to the extent that I would have liked to see. But enough of my gripes, let's get on to some good stuff. Gameplay. I loved how this game looked and performed. Spending time exploring the zones in this world, fighting enemies, doing side content, it was really enjoyable simply because of how beautiful the environments looked. Magic effects within cities, torches in towns, areas that were taken over by the Blight. Each place you went to looked unique and looked amazing. I also had great performance on the base PS5. I have no complaints when it comes to graphical fidelity, frame rate, performance. I pretty much had a flawless experience, and I think that's amazing. I wasn't sure how much I would enjoy combat in this game. I knew that the game would be closer to an ARPG than a classic CRPG. However, I do think combat worked well for this game. I did hear some common complaints about combat being stale or getting old as you progress through the game, and I think that playing the game on a harder difficulty will help out the flow of combat encounters. My first playthrough of the game, I played through just on normal, and it did get a little stale. It seemed like I was doing the same thing constantly, and it got a little boring. But replaying the game on a harder difficulty, it helps out the flow of combat encounters. Things slow down a little bit. You have to mix up your attack, use party members' abilities more often, and combine your abilities with theirs. The extra difficulty definitely makes things fresh. But I really do think this game is a lot of fun. Beautiful world, fun combat, and a grand battle at the end of the game that pairs well with the final story act. Man, I can't help but wonder how this game would have been received if it was presented as like a spin-off or a side Dragon Age game. I personally was comparing this game to all of BioWare's previous titles. I'm sure other people that have played this game and are BioWare fans were doing the same. While I had loads of fun in this game, it just didn't match up to games put out from the BioWare of old. If you haven't checked this game out yet and get it on a deep sale, I'd suggest you check it out. I wouldn't expect stellar writing or amazing companions, but you can get at least 40 hours of fun RPG combat, lots of side quests, and a beautiful world to explore. So yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. Let me know down in the comments below. Did you play Veilguard? What did you think of the game? If you didn't get the game, why not? But finally, if you liked the video, give it a like. If you didn't like it, dislike. Anyways, see ya.